So this is the page that you see when you are creating a new campaign for the very first time. Campaigns are ways to break up your lists of information. And when you're thinking about how you're setting up your campaigns, is that you mimic the structure of your organization. So if you have like a small group of national staff and you don't have paid staff around the country, just one campaign. So everybody can see everything. You can make decisions based on what makes sense for your organization as a whole. If instead your organization is structured in regions where you have a different organizer in each region of the country, you'd replicate that structure in this tool. So then each of those organizers who's responsible for a different region in the country can see all of the different work that's happening in their region quickly and at a glance. If you're a national organization with chapters, so maybe you have 50 or 150 local chapters, having a different campaign for each chapter, if that's the way that your organizers are doing work, if they're really working chapter by chapter, very chapter specific questions, responses, if the work is really driven from the bottom up, mimicking that bottom up structure in Action Builder for by having different campaigns for each chapter will be the way to go. So I am going to create a new campaign, and we've made this process really simple so that if you do have that nationwide structure where you might have 150 or 1,000 or 5,000 local chapters, it's really easy to spin up a new campaign. The only thing you need to do here is name that campaign, and then it creates that new campaign in the system. So again, this is a list of distinct people, but people can also exist in multiple different campaigns. So I'm going to just call this campaign chapter 123, click create campaign. And this takes me to the campaign customization section where I can edit the name, assign a target, how many people are going to be part of this chapter, change the country, and edit the support user here. So I'm going to say the number of people that we want to be part of chapter 123 is 750 people. And I'm going to go ahead and click save changes. There are a couple other aspects of campaigns I want to make sure that you're filled in on. So this is the campaign customization tab where you can also modify the support user, the support contact for that campaign. In the fields tab, which we'll get to in a minute, you'll be able to customize what information, what data points your activists and organizers see in the campaign so that they are only seeing the questions that are relevant to them in that moment at that time. This is another aspect to keep in mind when you're deciding how am I going to structure campaigns. Local 123, chapter 123 may have a spin up of a campaign that maybe they're doing with another chapter or that they're doing solo in a particular issue fight that is short-lived. It might have separate questions from the standard chapter 123 questions, so it might make sense for them to spin up another campaign for that effort. People can exist in multiple campaigns. So in that new issue advocacy fight, you could pull over all of your members from chapter 123's standard campaign and not create duplicate records. So people can exist across multiple campaigns. The assessments that we set up earlier are campaign specific. So you'd have a separate assessment for that issue advocacy fight. So somebody might be a leader in their chapter, but not a leader on that particular issue fight. Similarly, responses to questions are campaign specific. So if somebody is marked as an issue being economic justice in their chapter 123 campaign, that response that they're interested in economic justice wouldn't automatically flow over into that particular issue fights campaign. And that's about it in terms of campaigns. Of course, if you ever have any additional questions, you can click need help and click visit the help center to see more details.